Hello everyone. Let's understand. Let's move on to the part 2 of the takeover defenses. In the part 1 we studied lots of takeover defenses, majorly the 4 takeover defenses that are available. I hope you are clear with all those 4 major takeover defenses, and under them there are lots of other takeover defenses. So now let us move ahead to study some more takeover defenses which are available for a target company to avoid the hostile takeovers. First one is the shark repellent. Okay, the word is very interesting. Shark repellent. Okay, your shark represents the predators or the raiders who want to take over a company forcefully. Repellent is you want to avoid these sharks from taking over your company. So it's just like a mosquito repellent where you want to avoid the mosquitoes coming in. Here shark repellents are you want to avoid those sharks or the bidders or the raiders to take over your company. So it's a slang term which is used for a number of measures that are taken to avoid and take over. Okay, these measures can be, as mentioned over here, these measures can be your amendments, special amendments in the characters, then your preferred stock or golden parachutes. All these things come under your shark repellent. Okay, it is also called as porcupine provision. Okay, so most of the companies want to decide their own facts, so they want to have their own strategies to avoid the shark attacks. But we have to be very careful because sometimes these shark repellents may turn around and hit the company badly, especially the shareholders of the company very badly. So we have to be very cautious when we are using these shark repellents, because it may harm the financial position of the company as well as the management's ability to focus on critical business objectives. Some of the examples of shark repellents are poison pills, scorched earth policies, golden parachutes, and safe harbor strategies. So let's try to understand the shark repellents or the various other poison pills. First one is White Knight. Okay, White Knight means it's a good guy. Okay, this is a company, the good guy. Okay, the White Knight is a good guy that gallops into make a friendly takeover offer to target company that is facing a hostile takeover from another party, that is a Black Knight. The White Knight offers the target firm a way out with a friendly takeover. Okay, in simple words, I'll just explain you what this is. I suppose there's a company which is company A. Okay, and it has been threatened by a Black Knight. Okay, let's say Black Knight is a company which wants to take over company A. So Black Knight becomes a bidder or a raider. Okay, so that is another big company. Now what happens is company A approaches one of its friends, let's say company B. Okay, who is a friend, who is a good guy. Okay, and the company B takes over company A. It's a friendly takeover. Now what happens, when company B takes over company A, the bad guy or the Black Knight cannot take over that company A because it has already been taken over by some other company. And thus what happens, company A avoids the takeover by the big company or the Black Knight. Okay, so this is called as a friendly takeover, where that friend acts as a White Knight, a good guy who protects you from the takeover. Next one is greenmail. It's a spin-off or term blackmail. Greenmail occurs when large block of stocks is held by unfriendly companies or raider who then forces the target company to repurchase the stock at substantial premium to destroy any takeover attempt. This is known as bon voyage bonus or goodbye kisses also. Okay, if you see, this is not a takeover defense, but it is a takeover strategy. How do we take over? Basically, you do a blackmail. Greenmail is nothing but a blackmail. Okay, what do? You blackmail the target company to repurchase the stocks. Now suppose I am a raider. Okay, I want to take over a company. Fine, what I do is I purchase lot of shares of that company which I want to take over. Okay, and then blackmail that company that if the company doesn't pay me a premium on those stocks that I have, I will take over the company. So I am blackmailing the company. This is called as a greenmail. Okay, Okay, so what does the company has to do? If it wants to avoid the takeover, then it has to pay me the premium on my shares that I hold. So this is also called as the bond voyage bonus, or also called as goodbye kiss. Now let us move ahead with the various takeover defenses. Okay, so just pardon me, green mail is not a takeover defense, it is a takeover strategy. Please make a point of it. Okay, because we are going to learn the takeover strategies at the later stage, at the end. Okay, by mistake it is this slide has come over here, so please make a point that green mail is a takeover strategy, not a takeover defense. So what is a golden parachute? We have already studied golden parachute, that the executives have to be compensated heavily if the change of control happens. So which makes the bid very costly and avoids the takeover. So since we have already discussed this, let us not go into details of this once again. I hope you're clear with golden parachute. Next one is white square. This strategy is essentially the same as white knight and involves sale out of shares to company that is not interested in takeover. So it's just like a white knight. Okay, when there is a takeover attempt, you try to sell the shares of your company to a friend who is actually not interested to take over, but you sell it to them. Okay, as a consequence, the management of the target company retains its control over the company, and the bidder or the raider does not take over the company. Square. Then a showstopper. What is a showstopper? Basically, what happens is, here you try to contact the government and try to create legal barriers for a takeover. Okay, so a legal barrier to takeover attempt that is virtually impossible for a suitor to overcome. For example, a target company might convince state legislature, that is the state government, to pass various anti-takeover laws. So it will force the state government to pass the anti-takeover laws, which will basically avoid the takeovers and help you in that possible takeover from a bidder or a raider. So any law or regulation that makes a hostile takeover impossible or prohibitable expensive. A showstopper may take the form of a court order or act as a legislation. The term implies that target company takes some action in order to make the takeover difficult or impossible, but this is not always the case. Okay, so it takes basically the target company takes help of the legal and the state legislature to pass some acts or law for anti-takeover or hostile takeover defenses, or for a hostile takeover. So you become a showstopper. Jonestown defense. Okay, Jonestown is basically a town where a massacre had happened. So that is also used as a anti-takeover defense. So let's understand what is this. A defensive strategy by which target company engages in an activity that might actually ruin the company rather than prevent the hostile takeover, also known as suicide pin. Okay, so now I want to take over a particular company. Okay, let's say I am a raider and I want to take over company X. Now company X gets involved into such activities which ruins the company's reputation. So when the company's reputation is ruined, I will not take over that company X. Okay, so the company X will avoid the takeover, but it may also ruin its entire reputation, which is bad. So that is what Jonestown is. So why it is Jonestown, why this name Jonestown is because the term refers to the 1978 Jonestown massacre, where religious cult, the People Temple, led by James Jones, committed mass suicide in Guyana. So a mass suicide was created. So it's just like a suicide. You are tarnishing your own name just to avoid a takeover. Okay. So later also you may not be able to overcome that reputation or the bad reputation, and you may end up committing a suicide, or you may end up ruining the entire organization. So it is called as Jonestown defense, which is again a type of shark repellent which may sometimes fire back and ruin the entire company. Next one is scorched earth. Here, an anti-takeover strategy that a firm undertakes by liquidating its valuable and desired assets and assuming liabilities in an effort to make the proposed takeover unattractive. Okay, so what happens here is the target company tries to sell its valuable assets, okay, or the desired asset that the bidder wants to acquire. So it sells it off. So when the desired assets or valuable assets are sold by the target company, that target company becomes unattractive and then defends itself from that takeover. So in extreme cases, this strategy might end up being a suicide pill also, because when you sell your valuable assets or your desired assets, you are left with nothing. So it can turn into a suicide pill also. So macaroni defense, this is a tactic by which the target company issues large number of bonds that come with a guarantee that they will be redeemed at a higher price if the company is taken over. Okay, so what happens here? Macaroni defense is the target company issues lots of bonds, okay, with a condition that, with a guarantee that if there is a takeover, or if there is a change of control, then those bonds would be redeemed at a very high price. So when this condition is applicable, the bidder, for a bidder, the company becomes very costly, or the bid becomes very costly, because it has to redeem the bonds at a very high price, and thus that particular bid becomes unattractive or very costly, and thus the target company can defend itself from that possible takeover. Next one is people pill. Here management threatens that in the event of takeover, the management team will resign at the same time en masse. Okay, so what happens here? When the management of the target company basically threatens the bidder or the raider that they all will resign at once if the takeover happens. This especially is useful if they are a good management team. Losing them could be seriously harm the company and make the bidder think twice. On the other hand, hostile takeovers often result in management being fired anyway. So the effectiveness of people pill defense really depends on the situation. Okay, because sometimes the bidder or the raider wants to have his own management. So anyways, he's going to fire the management. So people pill will not work in such situations. Next one is the lobster trap, a strategy used by the target firm to prevent hostile takeover. Okay, so what is this lobster trap? In lobster trap, the company passes a provision preventing anyone with more than 10% ownership from converting convertible securities into voting stocks. Okay, so anyone who have more than 10% of ownership from converting the 10% ownership, they prevent them from converting the convertible securities into voting stock. Okay, and thus defends itself from a takeover. Examples of convertible securities include convertible bonds, convertible preferred stocks, or warrants. Okay, lobster trap, we have something called as a Pac-Man. Okay, a form of defense used in hostile takeover situation. The target firm turns around and tries to take over the company that has made the hostile bid. So here what happens? Suppose company A wants to take over company B forcefully. Okay, so company A is a bidder, company B is a target firm. In a Pac-Man defense, what happens is company B in turn threatens to take over company B, which is a target company, in turn tries to take over company A itself, who is a bidder, who is a hostile takeover, and thus protect itself from the takeover. So again, I'll explain. Company A wanted to take over company B, whereas in a Pac-Man, company B itself tries to take over company A. That is how a Pac-Man works, and thus avoid the takeover. After this, these were some of the takeover defenses that are available with the target company, which they can use, but have to be used very cautiously. So I said these are poison pills which have to be used very cautiously. If not, then it will tarnish, or it will ruin the reputation of the company, or it will ruin the entire company itself. Okay, then let us move on to some of the hostile takeover techniques. I have already specified green mail is also a hostile takeover technique which we have already studied. Let us move on to some more hostile takeover. First one is dawn raid. Okay, this is a corporate action more common in United Kingdom. However, it is also occurs in United States. During a dawn raid, dawn raid is basically at the end of the day. Okay, at the end of the day, a firm or investor aims to buy substantial holdings of the takeover target company. So at the end of the day, of the trading day, I try to take over maximum shares of that particular target company by instructing brokers to buy the shares as soon as the stock markets open. Okay, dawn of the day, not the end of the day. It is at the beginning of the day. Okay, as soon as the market opens, okay, you want to take over that particular company. You want to take over the shares of that particular company. So you instruct your brokers that as soon as the market opens, go and buy the shares of this particular target company. By getting the brokers to conduct the buying of shares of the target company, the victim, the acquirer, masks itself and thus its intent, okay, and thus buys the company. So Saturday night special, okay, this is basically this is sudden attempt by one company to take over another company by making a public tender offer. The name comes from the fact that these manures used to be done over the weekends, okay. Normally when the market is about to close, okay, on a weekend, these things are done, okay. So what happens basically, takeover, sudden attempt of takeover is done at the end of the week, and because the and at the end of the week, in the on the weekends, nobody is working, and the target company do not have any uh, legal provisions to protect itself. So normally these things happen on the weekends, okay. So they are called as Saturday night special. This has been restricted by SEBI Act, whereby acquisition of 5% or more of the equity must be disclosed to SEBI. So this has already been restricted by SEBI, but it is another form of a takeover strategy. The next one is street sweep. This technique requires that the acquirer should accumulate large amount of stocks in a company before making an open offer. The advantage is that firm is left with no choice but to give in. Okay, so street sweep, okay, sweeping up all the stocks which are available in the market. So as a bidder or as a raider, I buy maximum stocks which are available in the market of the target company. Thus, the target company has no choice but to sell the shares of my sell the shares to or sell the company to me, because I have already have maximum shares of that particular company. This is called as street. Okay, bear hug. Okay, bear hug is basically, it's not beer hug, it's bear hug. Okay, which is not pleasant. Okay, in this case, the acquirer puts pressure on the management of the target company by threatening to make an open offer. Okay, so basically, you try to threaten the management that if they are not ready to give away the company, then it will the bidder or the raider will make an open offer to buy the shares from the shareholders or the general public, and thus this is called as a bear hug. Okay, thus this will, or in these two parts we try to study the various takeover defenses, also the takeover strategies, which are useful to avoid basically the anti takeover defenses to avoid the takeovers, and takeover strategies where you can take over a particular company. I hope you are clear with these takeover defenses, uh, or the anti takeover defenses and the anti takeover strategies that we studied in two parts. If there are any doubts, any clarification, you can put it on the group so that we can have a discussion on it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.